What's up guys, this is Wences. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about how to create an epic life on your terms. And today we're talking about how to stop caring what other people think of you. A very different topic than how to stop comparing yourself to others, which we talked about in the last video. Nonetheless, this is a very important topic to focus on because it's one more thing that is keeping our attention from the things where we should be focusing on, which is creating that epic life we so want. Like always, we're gonna talk about 5 points that make a huge difference, and 5 points is always something you can remember and that you can put into action today. Before we get started, I want to remind you to sign up for the free Epic Life mini course on epic life creation and to check out everything on one-on-one coaching if you want to work with me privately. So now let's get into it. The truth number one, topic number one, you have to remember you only care about things that you agree with and or which cause a negative emotional state. Both of those things are not healthy. Sometimes they come even in a combination. They're keeping us from going forward to the life we want to live, and we have to change them if we don't want a burden holding us back. We have to understand there is no such thing as this completely resilient person that doesn't care what people think of them, and they stay in this scene where everybody thinks you're just worthless and you don't matter, and then no matter what, you make it out. Yes, there's situations like this I have been in when I have put myself there. What really made the difference then is for me to understand I do not need this. I don't need other people to think about me negatively, to not help me become the person I want to be. And I sure as heck don't want to be in a situation where everything is negative. So please don't think you have to be resilient and take everything. Actually, the biggest sign of self-respect, self-confidence is to get yourself out of situations where you're not being appreciated. That being said, it's still those two things. So things that we actually agree with. So if somebody would tell me, I don't like that you're brunette, I rather want you to be blonde. Or if somebody told me, what, you're not like an artist or you're not like a neurosurgeon, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care because that's not something I agree with. It's not something that I have a problem with. But I used to be somebody who had a huge problem if people thought I'm a bad person, if I wasn't giving enough, if I was too selfish, if I was not feminine enough. Like all of those things really caused a lot of problems for me, and I really had to take control over that thing and realize that this can't keep going like this. I have to change something, and it only feels this bad because even if I don't want to think of it, subconsciously I have to agree with this, otherwise I wouldn't care. If somebody today would tell me, oh, you're so fragile or you're so sensitive, this doesn't strike a chord with me. It never had. It just wasn't something. If somebody would have told me, oh, you're not cool. Well, I've overcome this a long time ago. This is not something that's a problem for me. But there are other things I work on still to this day. And the more I do it, the less I really care about what other people think of me. And if I look around, I'm really somebody who's very, very good at this. So I really want to teach you because it's not that difficult once you know what to do. The second part of this equation is even if it's something that you really don't care about, you do not need people telling you this all the time. Do not think you have to be strong enough to endure everything, because that's exactly what I thought about myself. Oh, I'm strong enough. I am okay. I'm above it. That doesn't make you strong. What actually makes you strong is to say, I don't like this. I think it's disrespectful. It has an effect on my mood, and I'm actually self-confident enough to tell you to stop this. I used to have a situation when I was still working where my coworkers started talking about other women and like, oh, look at them, they're so hot and stuff like that. And we were in a group of, let's say, 4 women. I was the oldest, so there were a lot of younger colleagues that were looking up to me, and I just find it very disrespectful. For them, it was more of, oh, I can't say anything or say that makes me feel uncomfortable, because it kind of sounded to them like I want them to pay attention to me, or that you're not strong enough or confident enough to take that. Well, it's actually the other way around. When you really respect yourself, you tell people that this is not a behavior you like, and you don't care if they think you're pretentious or if they think you want to have all that attention on you. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't feel good. It's not respectful, and I would never do that to others, so why would I be okay with other people doing that in front of me? We're in a group, there are a lot of females around, so don't talk about other women in that way. And I actually went up to my colleagues and told them that. And what happened, they had a huge amount of respect for me, and they protected my boundaries because I said this is what has to be done. Same thing with my father, for example, who had the tendency to just be negative or to just nag. It wasn't something he did on purpose. He didn't really have a problem with me. It was just some habit he had accumulated over the years. And I just straight told him, I do not accept this. I don't want this. If you want to have a relationship with me, I want us to be in a positive mood. And what happened? He told me, well, nobody can make any constructive criticism. You have become like so sensitive. Yeah, so that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but guess what? He stopped saying those things, and now we have a great relationship. That does not mean that you're not open to constructive criticism, but you have to be aware that you're a human being, and if you have people around you who do not lift you up but pull you down, even if it's not on purpose, it's gonna have an effect on your overall mood, on your overall productivity, and on your overall growth. You have the right to demand that kind of respect from everybody. Even if it's on a topic that you don't care about, the way it's said is just as important. Step number 2, make a list of how you want other people to see you. That is a huge one that so many people don't do. And I personally use the relationship dynamics that I also talk about in the Epic Life Masterclass, which are work relationship, family, friends, and intimate relationships. Really make a list and write down how do you want to be treated from the people in this area. You might think, what does that have to do with how other people see me? I will tell you. Once you know how you want to be treated, which starts with how you treat yourself and what you accept, then you can really make those boundaries known. I talked in the boundaries video, 2 videos before, how important it is to understand that there is no right or wrong here. You have to be the one who sets up those boundaries. And if you say, I want to be respected like this in my workplace, in my family, in my friend circle, and in my intimate relationship, and it can be different ways you want to be treated in all of those areas, you have to just say, I'm going to demand it. And don't be afraid of going overboard. If you do that, you will realize that you'll adjust it. You can even apologize and then move on. But if you're not leaning into that direction, you will always keep carrying what other people think of you because you don't set a straight line of how you expect to be treated. Because if you don't do that, you don't have an understanding about what you think of yourself. If you don't know what you think of yourself, if you don't know what you want other people to see in you, guess what? You're gonna care about how other people see you. You're gonna care about their feedback. You're gonna base your self-confidence on how people view you, and you don't even set parameters. So you're pretty much just going with the wind and taking on everything everybody wants to project on you. You will care about this more and more. You will want to convince people that you're so great and such a good person. If you don't make that decision that this is who you are, this is how you want to be seen, and if somebody doesn't see you in this way, then you don't need them in your life. That's how you really start the process of not caring what others think of you. Step number 3, once you've written down that list, think about if those things really complement your personality. Let's say you're in a workplace in a finance world, right? And you want people there to think that you're smart. You want people to appreciate your skills. And you want people to think that you're very orderly, that you do everything precisely, because this is something that is really valued in this company. Well, think about it. Does that really represent your personality? You want them to think you're smart. Well, that actually fits with my personality because being smart is so broad. You can define what that means to you. What about you want people to appreciate you for your skills? Also a very broad term. This also fits with your personality. But let's talk about the third one, which is that you're very math and detail oriented. With the first two ones, you can define them in a way that make very much sense to you. But the third one is actually talking about the skill itself. Is that really the thing that you're best at? Does that really represent your personality? Or are you more of a people person who likes to talk to other people, win clients, have relationships full of trust? See, that is an example that I take out of my life. I was in the finance world. I was working at a top tier consulting agency, and 95% of all people that I work with were very skilled at the detailed stuff. They were really good at building systems that calculated everything the client wanted from them. But that's not what I was about. That's not my biggest strength. My biggest strength is that I was able to hear clients, that I was able to create a relationship where they trusted me. They knew that I will take on their cause and I will fight for what they want. These were my skills. So I had to decide, why do I want people to think that I'm so great at these things, as in math oriented, really detail oriented, when in the end, my biggest asset are those soft skills. Those soft skills were responsible for a lot of contracts, for a lot of money that changed hands, and nobody questioned that. But if I would have been a person who said, oh, I want to prove to everybody that I'm better at those detail-oriented stuff, I would have not been kind to myself. Like, yeah, I want people to think I'm smart. I want people to value me for my skills, but my skill set is here, it's not there. And that is how you rearrange that list. Really look at that list and think about, is that really in alignment with my personality? Is that really in alignment with who I am? Is this really in alignment with what I love to do? And if it's not, change it. Because then you have a new image of who you want to be, how you want other people to think of you. And then once you take on this role and you say, I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to be good at this, then you're not going to care if other people think that you're not detail oriented, because it just becomes a skill. I don't care that I'm not an Olympian skiist, so why would I care that I'm not detail oriented in math? It's very, very subjective, and you get to decide what you value. So start valuing the things that you're good at, and then you're not gonna care about all those other things that people might think that you're lacking. You know what happens? It's not that I'm aware of it then and I just say I don't care. You're not even aware of it. People don't tell you, obviously. You just become aware if people think of you and have an opinion about you, if you're extra focused on it because you feel it yourself and you agree. Step number 4, and that actually picks up on the second part that we talked about in the beginning, which is negative moods and how we accept them. You do not have to accept negative moods from anybody. I don't care if it's my boss, if it's my father, if it's my friends, or if it's my partner in life. I'm not gonna accept this. Once I made that decision, a lot of things changed. And now we come to the last part, which is step 5, make a pride list. A pride list is actually very similar to a gratitude list, and I write it down every day, which is, what am I proud of that I did today? It's a muscle you have to build. It's a habit that you develop. In order to become more proud of who you are, you have to be aware of what you could already be proud of. In order to create something, the only way to do that, especially starting from a mindset point, is you have to start with something that already exists. If you can't acknowledge that you're proud of where you are right now, which was for me even in situations where I said, I'm proud that I really got ready and filmed this video, or I'm proud that I got up and was willing to do this little task because I know how hard it was for me. Once you start being proud of yourself, you're gonna be so focused on creating more of that pride because it gives you such a rush of endorphins. The more you're gonna be focusing on that, and the less you just care what other people think of you because you're already so proud of you. The prouder you are of you, the more you're happy with the person you're becoming. You just stop looking at what other people might think of you because you don't need their feedback. You see how reality agrees with you, because the longer you really set that course and stand your ground and keep doing things that you personally are proud of, that are important to you, you'll see how your environment will just change. People that don't agree with the choices you make, they will just vanish from your life. When I decided to quit my job and do this, you know what probably most people at my job thought about? Not me. Not me. A lot of people think, oh, didn't your coworkers think this and this? Well, I personally don't even think they were thinking about me because they were all focused with their thoughts. But if they were thinking about me, I'm sure a lot of people thought, oh, she just doesn't have what it takes to survive in this business. But I don't care, because what I'm proud of is that I make that jump. That decision is what really proved to me that I have strength. This is the decision that proved to me that I'm courageous. This is the decision that told me I want to be in control of my life, because I knew that this is what I wanted so much more than what I used to do. And you'll always have this feeling, oh, but this is not perfect. This is not exactly who I am. Remember, we're just leaning into it. There is no, oh, you wake up one day and you know exactly who you want to be. Lean into it, lean into the person you want to be, and you will stop caring what others think of you. I really hope that helped you. Watch it again and watch it often. You know what Zig Ziglar says, motivation doesn't last, neither does bathing. So that's why I recommend it daily. If you haven't done so already, sign up for the Epic Life mini course so you really take control of your life today. And if you want to work with me privately, check out all the information on one-on-one coaching. All the links are in the description. I wish you, like always, a wonderful day and can't wait to talk to you next time. Bye.